Hello, my name is Steve, and I come here today just to talk to you a little bit about addiction and different ways that we can look at addiction. I want to first introduce you into two different elements of addiction, which is sobriety and recovery. We both heard those words. We've all heard those words. Sobriety and recovery. Well, what do they truly mean? Well, I have an idea of what they truly mean inside of my own self, and I just want to share that with you right now. And I want you to take a look at that and see how I break it down. So as I talk to you and as I share with you the different thought processes that go through my mind, you fully understand where I'm coming from. Well, when you look at sobriety, you're looking at one in particular thing. You're looking at just the beginning stages of your addiction process, breaking away from that mold. Now, you're deciding that I am not going to use, for whatever reason, whether it be for legals, whether it be for your own personal satisfaction, whether it be for a loved one or a family member, but for some reason, you have now stopped using. Okay? Now, that's okay, and that's great. And if that's where you are today, congratulations, thank you, that's a good job. But where you need to be is in recovery. And that's another step, but we'll get to that in a minute. When you are in sobriety, basically what you're looking at is a different beast altogether. Sobriety is just like walking on a treadmill. You're moving, but you're not really getting anywhere. You're standing still in the beginning of your recovery. Like you're on that road to recovery. You're on that road to getting away from your addiction, but you continuously walk, but you really don't see that addiction piece getting further behind you because you're really not doing anything to develop yourself to get rid of those issues that are happening within your life. Because why? Well, there may be several reasons why. You have reservations that you are going to use again. As soon as your legals end, or as soon as something happens, you will find a way to use again. Or as soon as something happens that is going to change your ways of thinking, you will go out and use again. Or you just don't feel like putting in the work to find out what's going on, so you just don't want to use. You need to examine yourself and find out where you're at. And I mean this in all due respect. But the reality is that when we take a look at our lives, we have to take a hard reality and say, you know what? We have to take a stand for where we're at. What's going on in our lives? What's happening to us as a whole? Where do we fit our sobriety or recovery? Do we fit in that mold? Do we fit in the mold of sobriety? Or are we moving into recovery? So let's talk a minute about recovery. Recovery is something different. Recovery is that beginning step. Recovery is first acknowledging that you are going to break away from addiction, correct? Yes. So you break away from that addiction process, you break away from that, but then not only that, you start to look at different aspects of your life. You look at different things like, what makes me tick? What makes me happy? What makes me sad? What brings joy to my life? What do I need to do to change what's going on outside? How do I create different decisions in my life? How do I work on different things that are going on in my life? There's different avenues in your life that will need to be changed, but it's up to you as an individual to decide what they are and how much work you have to put into it. Why? Because we're all individual people. We're all individuals who walk on the journey of addiction and walk in the journey of recovery in our own way. Now, I want to cover so many different things in this topic of discussion over the period of time, and I want to just bring this to your attention. I want to come to you and I want to bring this to you as a way for you to listen and think about yourself. Think about where you're at. Think about what's going on in your life. Sobriety, recovery, This is important because this is the one piece to your puzzle that you will have to decide where you are. And if you are still in sobriety, then you need to figure out how you are going to move forward into recovery if it's truly what you want and truly clean that you want to be. I'm telling you, there is nothing like breaking away from addiction. There's nothing like breaking through to the other side of addiction, dealing with those problems, dealing with those issues, dealing with the life struggles that you've had, and finally breaking through to the other side. And we're going to discuss many different avenues, many different ways, many different problems and solutions to those problems. Avenues that you can take. They may not all work for you, but I hope that you will take the time to at least watch them, at least look at them. If you're in sobriety, it's kind of like putting your hands across your chest and just saying, you know what, I'm going to wait for recovery to find me. I'm telling you right now, recovery will not find you. Recovery doesn't seek you out. You have to seek it out. It will not look for you. You have to look for it. It wants to be found, but you have to be actively looking in order for it to be found. Too many times in our lives, we're told we're not worth it. You won't amount to anything. You won't become anything. You'll be nothing but an addict. You'll be nothing but a useless piece of garbage. Whatever the case may be, you fill in the blanks that go on inside your own life. You're going to notice that with me, I speak very generally. I speak very generally because I don't know what's going on in your life right now. I don't know where you're at. But I do know that you know where you're at. And people tell you these things, but I'm here to tell you, and I'm here to look at this camera in front of me, and I'm here to say, you are worth it. You are important. You are somebody. You mean something to this world, and your story could help millions of people. It's just a matter of how hard are you willing to fight for that recovery. You know, it's so important to understand that our recovery is ours. Ours. It's mine. I keep it, I give it away. You keep it, you give it away. If you find it in yourself and you hold on to it, you will not give it away because it becomes too important to you. Why? Because your worth in that recovery becomes too great. And that's going to be one big piece that we are going to talk about. We are going to talk about communication and how that affects recovery. We're going to talk about self-worth and how that plays a large part in recovery. We're going to talk about forgiveness, both internal, external, the whole 9 yards. We're going to talk about trust and how it's broken and how we rebuild it. We're going to talk about many different things beyond that, outside sober supports. We're going to talk about things that involve addiction and recovery so that you can finally look inside yourself and think, what do I need to do? I want you to look inside yourself today. Look inside yourself today and ask yourself this question. Am I in sobriety or am I in recovery? What is my motivation to stay clean? Is my motivation to stay clean to get off of my legals? To make my parents happy? To make my significant other happy? To make my children happy? Because I'm here to tell you that that won't work. because everybody in this world will let you down. And very shortly, if you're on legals and you do the right thing, you will get off those legals. And then what are you going to do? Exactly what your plan is. Go back to use. And then what's going to end up happening? You said to yourself before, I'm not going to get caught. I won't have any issues. But then you got caught and you had issues. What is going to change? How are you going to move forward? Are you willing to sit there and live this life over and over and over again? Or are you willing to make a change? Are you willing to make a commitment? Are you willing to move forward and say that you're much more worth it than what you've originally thought? You are somebody. You are worth something. I hope and I pray that you will be able to find yourself and find out who you are in these videos. I hope and I pray that you will locate and learn how to find your recovery. Thank you so much, and I truly hope that you will continue to follow through and follow these videos moving forward. Listen to them often. Listen to them again. Find encouragement. You're worth it. You're somebody. Don't let anybody steal your joy. Don't let anybody take it away from you. You mean too much. Thank you so much.